to ancient wisdom. Why learning anything new is such a daunting task? Basically, what is music? It's 7 sur. And if you are learning a keyboard or a piano, all that you need is keys which are pre-decided. For a tune on piano, all that you need to do is move your fingers in a certain pattern. But it takes a long time to do it. As per the piano experts, it takes 10 years to get some kind of distinction in playing the piano. It is, after all, in essence, finger movements, or for that matter, learning to write. Why is it so difficult for children to learn to write well? Today you will see that people with good handwriting are very rare. Why is it that making a certain shape by the hand is so difficult? Or for that matter, painting. Painting also is hand movement. But to learn painting, it takes upward of 10 years, just like learning piano. These things are so difficult, or we find them to be so difficult, because our brain is born lazy. Surprising, isn't it? The brain that takes maximum nutrition of all the food that we are eating, the brain that never sleeps, the brain that gives us all these ideas, and I am calling it the lazy brain. Yes. Why? The lazy brain, it never wants to work. It wants to create patterns and throw them at the back of the brain, from where they would be automatically, regularly and repeatedly used, so that the brain doesn't have to work. This is the reason why animals did not evolve the way humans did. The main requirement for animals was food and shelter. Food was number one. So far as they kept on getting the food, they had automatic patterns in their brain which identified food and non-food, and they chose the food and they survived. Some apes in some areas have learned to use a small stick which they stick into the areas where ants are, and then get those ants which stick to those, or which attack that stick. They take out that stick and eat those ants. But this is very preliminary kind of application of brain. They have not gone beyond that. The reason being lazy brain. In human beings too, you will see the same presentation of lazy brain. We learn in the initial part of our life. Some go up to degree, some up to post graduation, some up to PhD. And we learn only till we form an automatic pattern. Once the pattern is formed, we stop learning and keep implementing that pattern again and again and again, till there is a requirement, external requirement, to change that pattern or break that pattern. We don't want to change it on our own. Interestingly, this is also the reason for compulsory or voluntary retirement schemes. This is also the reason why there is this proverb, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. If the new tricks are not necessary for survival, the new dog will not learn it. And with our social systems in place, survival is no more a problem. So people will not learn new things, their brain will not allow that. And that is why to tell them, you get out to your house and sit there, we will pay you for your upkeep, is a better option than trying to retrain them. But look at the root of it all. It is that lazy brain. And that lazy brain itself does not tell us that, okay, I got these many patterns and now I have free time. You can utilize that free time to learn new tricks without disturbing those old patterns. And when those new tricks become powerful enough, some of the old patterns will be reformed and you have learned a new skill. It is not flexibility of the body or flexibility of the limbs or movement of the fingers. It is flexibility, ability and wish of the brain to learn. This is why Swami Vivekananda, who had complete command on his mind, was able to use an air gun for the first time and was able to shoot targets at will, exactly having that bull's eye, because his body was perfectly under the control of his mind. His brain was not lazy like ours, and he had stopped that brain from preparing patterns which were automatic. So it all comes back to the brain. You also would be having a number of habits which are born out of that lazy brain and the patterns in the brain. Identify those patterns and break those patterns to learn new patterns. That is one way. Or learn new tricks, learn new ways of doing things, whereby those new patterns will take over the older versions. That is ancient wisdom. Think about it, do something about it. Namaskar.